JGCF, behavioral health support for students. Mr. Jenko, are you tackling these?
I'm tackling this one, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening again. Policy JGCF, the one addition that comes to us through some legislative action is that last section that talks about the school system may offer mental health screenings for all students in grades K through 12. And I appreciate the word may, because as a system, we do not have the capability to do that. And the companies that we work with do not have that capability. But we do have the capability, if a child needs it for whatever reason they go through, to individually take care of it. But to do this for entire 20,000 students, we just cannot do that. And that's the way the legislature has it set up with the may. So we're good with that.
Move to adopt administration's recommendation.
So we have a motion by Mr. Duncan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Mr. Minguez. Do we have any discussions whatsoever? Okay, hearing none. Does anyone have any objections to the motion? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. All right, so we're going to move to item B. Consider adoption for policy changes based on legislative changes for GBRA employee conduct. Anybody managing this one? I mean, I could take a swing at it, guys.
Hey, the ones that we have that are B through, these are all recommendations that came through forethought. That's B through, B through H, actually, are the ones that came from forethought.
Okay.
So B and C have to do with the requirement of employees to notify the board or if they're convicted or plead no contest to specific criminal offenses, or if they have been found to be added to this Department of Children and Family Services State Central Registry. So I will move that we adopt the administration's recommendation as to agenda items B and C, which are policy GBRA and GBN.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor to adopt for both agenda item B and C, administration recommendation. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Ms. Janice Richards. Any discussion on the motion? I did have one question, and I don't know if this helps us or not, but on item C, we could eliminate line 4 if we alter line 3 and put any school employee. Because it really pertains to everybody, not just educate. I think the way it came in from forethought was because it was written like that in law. But if you put any employee, it eliminates having to do it twice and be real repetitive.
Which lines are you recognizing?
So if you look at line 2, an administrator, teacher, substitute teacher whose name is recorded. If you go down, it says administrator, teacher, substitute who's found, submitted fraud. If you put, and then on 4, it says administrator, teacher, so it's just real repetitive. If you put in line 2, any school employee whose name is recorded, you can pretty much eliminate item 4.
2 and 4 are different things. One has to do with being part of the Department of Children's Services, and the other one has to do with being found to facilitate a cheating.
I mean, that's fine. Maybe I read it wrong.
And then the other one has to do with submitting fraudulent documentation. So, no, I think it's right.
So I have a motion and I have a second. Any further discussion? Does anybody object the motion?
Maybe 1 and 5 was what you were thinking about, but no, I'm fine with leaving it the way it is.
Does anybody object to Mr. Duncan's motion? All right, with no objections, motion passes with no objection. So then we'll move to item D, correct? D, consider the revisions of policy GBC recruitment.
That's the same thing, and so it involves the same
Yeah.
adjustment to statute.
Do
So
I hear
move to
a
adopt
motion?
the administration's recommendation.
Got a motion by Mr. Duncan. Do I got a second?
Second.
Got a second by Mr. Mingus. Any discussion needed? Hearing no discussion. Anybody object? Hearing no objection, motion passes. No objection. Move on to item E, consider the revisions of policy EBBC, emergency and crisis management. Mr. Jenko.
Good evening again, folks. This talks about the mapping of a school, whether it be electronically or through drones and stuff. And I know we had started this one time with the state police and it kind of stopped. But our law enforcement officers and the special responders have the actual map of the physical map of our schools. We'll just verify that they have the most current updated one. But as far as a mapping, electronic mapping, we do not have that, and there's been no information sent out to us that any group is starting this.
All right, do I have a motion to adopt administration recommendation?
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion. Got a motion by Mr. Mingus and a second by Mr. Anthony. Any discussion on item E? Mr. Mingus.
So I know in the emergency plan book that each campus has, there's a diagram of where everything is, all the outer buildings, all the everything. So, but those are already given to the fire departments and the sheriff's departments, aren't they? I mean,
Yes,
we're already
ma'am.
doing that, so.
What this was talking about, if there is let's say a drone flyover. I know one time the state police were starting the mission of being able to x-ray the school some kind of way to where you could see the halls and do it that way, but we do not have that capability.
Okay.
But all of our local agencies do have that physical blueprint that you're talking about. They know where building 4 is, room 401. They know where that is, north, south, east, west, et cetera.
Yeah, and we just make sure every year we update it if we
Yes,
change
yes, ma'am.
the physical plan, yeah.
I think some of the stuff we were already doing, like I said,
Well,
turning
yeah.
in blueprints and,
Correct.
and architectural plans, we've already done that,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. I got any other discussion or questions on this item? Okay. Does anyone object to the motion by Mr. Mingus and the second from Mr. Anthony? Do we have any objections to this motion? Okay, hearing no objections to this motion, policy passes with no objection. Moving on to item F, consider the revisions of policy DJE, purchasing. Do we have anybody from administration wanting to discuss this one? I don't have anybody scheduled on it.
Motion to adopt.
Got a motion to adopt by Mr. Westmoreland. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second by Mr. Duncan. Any discussion on this motion?
Just for the benefit of anybody that might want to watch the video, this has to do with making sure that we don't hire people to do federally funded projects that have been suspended or disbarred or added to a specific list that says they can't take federal jobs.
The only recommendation I have on the last line, it says, responsibility of the superintendent and/or director of finance. There's no such position here. So I think that should say director of business services or CFO. I'm not sure who they're referring to there. Yeah, or designee.
Yeah, I was gonna say-
Superintendent and/or designee. would be great.
And/or designee.
Leave that, and just take out director of finance and put,
So the motion, we'll make a motion to amend the recommendation so that that sentence reads, it shall be the responsibility of the superintendent and/or their designee to implement these provisions.
Okay, I've got a new motion by Mr. Duncan. Do I have a second?
second.
Got a second by Mr. Westmoreland. Because we altered it, I would like to call a roll call vote for
We
this.
need to first do an adoption of that amendment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need to adopt that amendment. We need to have a roll call vote for that.
One second, I'm just updating the verbiage.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm ready. motion to amend.
Okay. Please call for.
Mr. Piazza,
Yes.
Mr. Anthony,
Yes.
Mr. Westmoreland,
Yes.
Miss Abrams,
Yes.
Ms. Dominguez,
Yes.
Mr. Duncan,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Ms. Richards.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Move to adopt as amended.
I got a second? Second by Mr. Westmoreland. Any objection? Hearing no objection, motion passes with no objection. We're going to move to item G. Consider the revision of policy DFK, sale of surplus equipment and supplies. Anybody from administration want to tackle this one? If not, I can kind of give a brief. Okay. This one just says that the school board for their technology and devices can sell their equipment once being used and determined they are no longer valuable for our school system, can be resold to like a buyback program or to another firm that may want to buy the equipment that we have. The stipulations is that all data and security policies that were on those devices have to be wiped prior to them being sold to that conglomerate.
Move to adopt.
We got a motion by Mr. Duncan to adopt,
Second.
and I got a second by Mr. Westmoreland. Do I have any objection to this motion? Any discussion? Hearing none, policy is adopted with no objection. Moving to item H, consider the revision of policy BCBB, notification of school board meetings. Again, nobody listed here for administration. I'll give a quick summary. It looks like their number 3 in our policy was redacted. So the redacting is submitting a notice to each member of the Commissioner of Administration in a manner and format that allows the Commissioner time to post the notice on its website prior to 24 hours before the scheduled time of the meeting, as required or advertised by the Commissioner of Administration. We still have to post things before 24 hours, but this eliminates having to send it to a Commissioner of Administration, which I don't think exists anymore, from my understanding.
Make a motion to accept recommendation.
Got a motion by Ms. Dominguez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second by Mr. Westmoreland. Any discussion on this motion? Anything from administration? Hearing no objections, motion passes with no objection. Now we've got, move on to item I, consider approval of the addition to policy JCDAF, bullying and hazing. I'm gonna take the reins on this one because this is one that I referred. As we go through the years, we see new things that develop within our school districts with students. We see upticks in certain patterns that arise. And with the age of AI and Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook, which we all know our loving students live more time on than in reality for the most part, a lot of our discipline issues, fights, start online. I've been to multiple school board conferences that talk about AI and safety of students and yada, yada, yada. The state changed laws this year because it has become such an issue even on their level. So therefore, I have put together a policy for the school system that would handle anything that could be thrown at it through cyberbullying and electronic harassment. This has been put together with both the new laws that have come out from Baton Rouge this last session and laws that were its predecessors. Pretty much to kind of make sure everybody can understand what it says is that if a student is bullied or harassed online and it is documented, we have evidence of it, it can fall somewhere within our code of conduct, meaning they can be disciplined even though they are off-site. They can be disciplined through the code of conduct. The only thing that was actually designated to a level, because we go by levels in our student code of conduct, if you scroll down to under disciplinary consequences, let's see, It says in big bold letters, if a student uses the likeness of any student or shares inappropriate images without the consent of that student being betrayed, the consequences shall fall under a level 3 or level 4 offense, depending on the severity of the event in question. We've had in the past students share inappropriate photos of young ladies that have become issues. And I think we have a responsibility to protect our students on campus, and that is why that will be either a level 4 or level 3, depending on what investigations find in that. Guys, this is a revolutionary policy. This is not something other school districts are doing. Theirs is not as in-depth as this one, but it gives our administration teeth to actually protect the students on our campus from the growing threat of social media. It is not to punish kids, it is not to kick people off of social media, it is to show them that there are consequences when you do certain actions online and affect other students.
Joey, I have a question.
Well, hang on, before we you gotta get a motion before you can have any questions.
Well, but that's what I need to have a clarification.
Okay.
Because I don't know what the motion, so is J, on here, is JCDAF our current?
That is our current bullying and hazing policy, so this
So why
could
is it,
be,
why is it on here as status draft? As though it hasn't been
Because
adopted?
it's a work in progress
What does that mean?
because of his request for the addition.
So, but has his revisions been put into our current policy?
No, it's an your current policy is still live. Right now, you have a draft version of that in the work in progress, so that can be added if it's adopted.
No, but, so,
Sorry.
when
Maybe
it
I'm not
comes to us in a policy committee meeting, it's supposed to come to us in a draft that is ready for us to adopt into a policy. So, are we asking that, that's what I'm trying to get clarity on, like, I see what Joey drafted, but that is not integrated into a policy for us to adopt, which is.
That's correct. That was communicated whenever it was sent over, that it was too late at that time to add it in, and I was told to add the attachment in its place.
But I still don't have anything to adopt
Well,
as a policy. I
It
have to
doesn't,
have,
yeah, it doesn't show what was there and what was inserted or taken out.
or
That's
how
right.
we're gonna insert it, or
Yeah.
any of that.
Yeah,
That's
or
correct.
what was the original policy, yeah.
So Joey, do you want us to direct the administration to bring this back to us in a policy that we can actually adopt?
can, either that or you can even motion to put it on as its own separate policy. I was gonna put it input into the hazing and bullying, just as its own separate section, but since it is so detailed, it could technically be its own policy. But yes, we can do either one. We can table it and put it, and have it redone. We can let administration ask to put it into its own current policy.
Has the administration reviewed this, and do they have a recommendation?
No, we did not. Haven't seen it.
So I would suggest that the appropriate action is to refer this to the administration so that we can get a recommendation from them and that it can be specifically put into a format that we can adopt. And have it at our very next policy committee meeting.
Either have it as a new policy or as an amended policy to JCDAF and see how it's amended.
Yeah.
We need to see how it's amended. Maybe a lot of the same words already.
I got a question. Joey, the policy that you listed, JCDAF, is that something you found that's already in the policy manual?
That is in our policy manual, and but it does not include cyberbullying. It only includes physical bullying. Yeah.
Okay. It also does not, previous to Joey typing this up, it had no disciplinary consequence.
Zero.
At all. So,
Yeah.
which has been a problem because they were like, we can't do anything, the administrators.
Duncan, what about, as far as investigating if this truly came from that particular bully's computer?
It would fall to the same investigative process you have in your code of conduct. So the same way they do fights and other disputes would fall in the same type of
So law
investigation.
enforcement would have to get involved because there's no way of us being able to go and find out who's.
It would
IP
depend,
address
I
it
guess,
came
on the
from.
situation. If a parent comes with a video showing so-and-so posted it, you don't have to get involved. But if they gotta go and physically look for it, then yeah, your law enforcement would have to get involved. But a lot of times, parents come up and go, hey, so-and-so posted this, look at his face, here's his name, here it is.
Again,
Yeah.
with technology the way it is,
Oh, I
kids
get it.
can make up their own Facebook, their own Instagram accounts with somebody else's name, and you just don't know who is posting that particular.
I get it.
Okay.
So I have a motion by Mr. Toller not Mr. Toller, Mr. Duncan, to refer this to administration and to have them put their input and put it into a functional document for adoption to come back here at the next policy committee.
We also have our attorney look at it,
I
because that's
think that
part
needs
of
to
our,
be part of your.
that is part of our internal process, yeah.
I'll second that.
A second by Mr. Anthony.
And it's not my intention to delay adopting this. I do see the urgency and the need for it. I just want to make sure that, because this is as you point out, it's a big deal. And when we adopt this, we need to make sure that we're doing it in a way that, where we've crossed all of our Ts and dotted all of our Is, and we're doing it the right way, so.
Gotcha. So again, I got a motion by Mr. Duncan, second by Mr. Anthony. I will do a roll call since we are sending this over to administration. Any discussions before the roll call vote? Please call for roll.
Mr. Piazza,
Yes.
Mr. Anthony,
Yes.
Mr. Westmoreland,
Yes.
Ms. Abrams,
Yes.
Ms. Dominguez,
Yes.
Mr. Duncan,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Ms. Richards.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you so much. Item J, consider revision of policy JS student fees pending the review of policy DIA, physical management, DFI, admissions and gate receipts, and DL cash in school buildings. So this one was referred by Mr. Toller. He asked to add a line in our policy that states that while we do recommend going cashless, meaning that we do not necessarily want to handle cash, we want the majority of the masses to use a paperless system, that we as a school system will still encourage and accept the use of cash in certain situations, such as at a gate if it's a last minute situation, or for fees or anything of that nature. So his addition to this policy was the school system will encourage the use of cashless devices, but will accept cash as a monetary payment for all transactions. Again, I know administration has really put a push to do paperless, and for good reason. We have a bunch of issues that happen with cash. However, Mr. Toller, and again, he's not here tonight, he did call me and ask me to put it still on the agenda and state that because we are stewards of the public, we should treat them as customers and not turn them away just because they have cash. And that cash is still the currency. But Mr. McNeely, yes, this is your realm.
So the reason the additional wording about DIA, DFI, and DL are in there is those are additional policies that are affected by this. Administration has a meeting tomorrow to review policies, so I would ask Mr. Duncan if you would do the same. And I don't know if y'all need to refer DIA, DFI, and DL to policy or how that works, but all of these work together. And I had started working on a draft that I think will address the issues as far as cash. We would prefer to get to a place where we can kind of make an announcement that parents, if any of our employees ask you for cash, ask you to give a Venmo, ask you to give a PayPal, we don't do that. Okay, but it does, and it's not in this, but in my draft on the other policies, we'll establish 2 sites where if you have to pay cash, you can come here or you can come to the Family Resources Center to pay cash. So you've got to pay $1,500 for your cheerleaders stuff. You don't have to put it on the credit card. You can write a check. If you can't write a check, we will accept cash. We just don't want cash all over at all the schools. We've had multiple employees that have had to resign this year due to improprieties with regard to the handling of cash.
So what about sports events, sporting events? We're not going to take cash at the gates?
The issue with the way that is worded, it says all transactions, so we would have to provide, the way that's worded, we would have to have a cash alternative for everything that's being done. So in speaking with the principal, particularly in question, the lines had nothing to do with cash. It had to do with they opened up another line is why they started moving. So the principals are really moving toward wanting to be cashless.
And I understand that, but if you have a grandpa that's coming 20 miles away to watch their kid play baseball or football, and they only have cash in their pocket, we have to allow them to pay cash. I am totally against cashless. The whole United States, I'm totally against it. I think it's stupid. We're going to be in a hill of beans when it comes down to it when we go cashless, and everybody knows where your money's going. But
I understand the
I
districts.
really don't think that
Both
this
of our
is
districts, either side are cashless. Southeastern's cashless, LSU's cashless, the Superdome's cashless, and there's a reason. And it's
I
because
get
it's-
it.
It's
I
protecting
understand.
employees from getting accused of having sticky fingers.
And I
But
just don't.
that's y'all's decision.
I just don't understand why we can't have, you know, like in Sumner, when he said, they don't have good internet out there. So if you're swiping a card and the internet's not working well, the lines are backing up. If you have cash, it doesn't matter. Same thing out in La Ronja. Our internet is terrible out there most of the time. How are we gonna do this to people?
That's all been resolved this summer. They've run internet to all of the fields. It's been tested. Everything is working.
Okay, my next question. Who's eating all these fees? Because the principals were told today that the parents have to incur the fees that we
No,
won't.
that was the opposite. No. And I guess what I'm saying is all that will be part of the policy that we will bring to you because it affects all the other items have to do with that. So we will bring.
So, I'm sorry, you're right, that we would incur the fees. So if a football team or a baseball team has to incur these fees, that could be $500 to $1,000 out of their gate money.
Right. But we've
But-
also taken on all the cost of their field maintenance and painting the fields, and so it's an even swap. And they don't, and to be clear, what the principals were told today is it doesn't necessarily come out of their fee. It can come out of that, it can come out of their general or their school allocation, which is the money we're giving them. So that we're trying to give the principals more options on how they conduct business on their campuses.
So hang on, before we get too far, and I know we got some other questions from board members, before we can have a discussion, we
I'll
need
make a
to,
motion to accept the recommendation.
I got a motion by Ms.
Wait, his
Dominguez.
recommendation, though, 'cause- so that's what I
Well, this is Tom's,
So Mr. Toller
put it on
recommended
there, yeah.
that we add that line to our current policy.
Right, and that's what I needed to have clarity on what the
Yeah.
motion is. Is the motion to adopt the administration's recommendation, which is to wait
Right.
until the other policies are presented, or is the motion to adopt what Mr. Toller has presented? So that needs to be clear in your motion.
So Ms. Dominguez, I need you to restate your motion, please.
Recommendation from Mr. Toller.
Okay, so I have a recommendation
second.
by Mr. Dominguez to adopt Mr. Toller's recommendation to add the word effective, that we will accept cash in all transactions. And I have a second by Ms. Abrams. Now, I will open the floor to any discussions. Ms. Dominguez, you had your hand up first.
Okay, so just to clarify, well, I had talked to you yesterday about this. The options for the principals, they could either take it out of the gate, or they could take it out of the general fund at the school, or they could take it from central office. I'm not for let every principal just decide, because in the course of my 20 years, we've been trying to get consistent across the parish with all the guidelines so that people don't fuss because they do this and they do that. It's consistently. So I feel like we need to have a consistent deal. As far as taking, some of the burden of the upkeep of the fields or the activities that go on the campus so that the football team doesn't have to take care of those things, or the soccer or whatever, those are our properties. They're not the Boosters Club's properties. We should incur that, and that's why we did that, because they are our properties. So I feel like what we're doing, I know we have to find money, and we're trying to oversee what's going on, but the reason we did that was to help our campuses and to help our organizations. And now we're gonna swap back and take that away from them, because we're gonna charge them at the gate, or we're gonna charge, the fee to the campus, and then they're gonna take it out of the boosters' money or the football money or whatever. So, I mean, it's gotta be a better way to figure this out, because if we take money from any of those things, it's taking money from the kids, from the program that we need. And I just feel like we have to find a better way, because I agree with Mr. Toller, with him having to pay, and not just him, but anybody who's a cheerleader parent or a wave-at parent or whatever, if they're having to pay a fee because we are forcing them to use their credit card, they shouldn't have to pay the extra fee as well. And so we gotta find a happy medium here. So if y'all can look at those other policies ASAP, bring them back so that we can start the year knowing what we're gonna do, because he's been asking for this since May to be placed on the agenda. So I don't know when you're meeting, if you said it was tomorrow or this week, how fast can we get it back on
this
Joey's policy?
Yeah. And we can hold a policy at the beginning of the next board meeting, so. But to answer a question there, the reason why it's taken so long is we've been having issues with Assembly and moving
This
policies.
didn't have nothing to do with Assembly.
Well, what I'm saying is we can't hold a policy meeting if we don't have policies inside the system in which we adopt.
No,
But nonetheless, I do want to echo something that Mr. Toller did ask me to say. He asked me to say tonight that we are stewards of the public and that they are our customers, and we should treat them, that we want them welcome on our campus, and we will accept anything they bring to us as form of their payment. That's for Mr. Toller. For me personally, I understand where you're coming from, Mr. McNeely. I worked at a very big school where football was a big deal, and we had issues with people getting in trouble for sticky fingers, and I applaud the administration for trying to resolve that to where money is allocated to where it is supposed to go, and there is no middle ground for somebody to do it. On the flip side of that, though, I do agree that cash has to be accepted in certain terms because, one, it's a currency that is accepted throughout the whole United States, and we are stewards of that money. I mean, they pay us in tax money in the same similar way with our sales tax and property tax. That should be allowed here, but in moderation. I agree with what you're saying, in moderation, meaning if all things have exhausted and that's all we can do is cash, that just needs to read somewhere, I think, in policy. And I think that's what administration wants too, is to eliminate where we can and still accept it to where it's.
Right. My concern is the wording that says all transactions. So we would have to figure out a way as an administration for every transaction to have a cash
So
option.
you said the meeting is for tomorrow?
Is that right? Thursday.
So let me ask, would the board be okay, since Mr. Toller's not here, Mr.
I have a suggestion. Table it for 1 week.
That's my man,
Motion to table for 1 week. We'll debate it at policy in a week. Y'all have a chance to have your meeting and bring us so that all the policies are consistent. I'm in favor of allowing people that only have cash to use it. That's just saying that for the record. But give y'all an opportunity to see what we can come up with.
So I have a motion to table by Mr. Westmoreland and a second by Mr. Anthony as non-debatable. Therefore, please call a roll call vote, Miss Amanda, to table item J to the next policy meeting, which will be held before the next board meeting.
Piazza,
Yes.
Mr. Anthony,
Yes.
Mr. Westmoreland,
Yes.
Ms. Abrams,
Yes.
Ms. Dominguez,
Yes.
Mr. Duncan,
No.
Just
Mr.
point of
Moore?
order. Brett had his hand up, you never recognized him, so I just want.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, item is tabled until the next board meeting. I will make one thing to say to that. If administration would not send out anything on social media that deals with us collecting money for the next school year until we have that meeting. So don't send out any new back to school, hey, we're only accepting no cash. Don't send that until the next meeting, please.
Too late on that one.
Well, I'm talking about from now to then, I'm not.
So we met with the principals today, and I clearly said, the current policy is this, but the board has a potential policy change, okay? But this is also in the middle of us getting back to school. We have financial account clerks that are having to get directives on how to handle things. We're having to set things up, so this is, time is of the essence to get this.
And that's why he brought it
Handled.
up in May.
Right.
I'm gonna throw that
That's
back
why,
out
yeah,
there.
he's been trying to get it on the agenda since May.
And I will point out that these other policies that y'all are talking about have not been referred. So they're
So
still
I'm asking
3
tonight.
steps away.
So
from-
tonight, at the Can you add it to the board?
Why is it just coming to us tonight, though, Jeff? He's been trying to do this since
I
May,
didn't see his hand.
and these other agenda items.
I can't speak to why Mr. Toller has not brought any of this other stuff. I was just
No, I'm
made-
talking about the other
I was made
items.
aware of it today.
Well, maybe I was having.
Okay,
So do we need a formal motion to refer them?
They have to be placed on the agenda, they have to be advertised, we should not put a policy referral as a last minute addition to an agenda item. It needs to go through the steps. So it needs to be on the next full board agenda item to refer those to policy, then they need to come to policy with the administration's recommendations, and then they can go to the board. The reason I voted no, just so that the public knows, is I think this was the first opportunity we as a board have gotten an opportunity to speak on whether we want to go cashless or not. And I think it would have been helpful for the administration to know whether this board wants to do a cashless or not before they start
We've never
working
been
on
asked.
other policies.
Can we waive the rules at our regular meeting in a few minutes and add that to the agenda to refer them to policy next week?
No, that's what I'm saying, I don't think we should do that. I think we need to advertise ahead of time when we have policies that we intend to refer. But
But we're not gonna discuss it, we're just gonna say we're gonna refer it. They have a whole week to go look at those policies if they choose.
it'll still get done.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, call a point of order. We have no other items on our policy committee. We are going to adjourn. We can discuss that privately in the back.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Potty break. Thank you.